Okay, so this is the second part to, like, Lonely Old Man. I call it Red File. It has a purpose to why it's called that. Anyway, so we leave the old man's apartment, and he, as we're leaving outside, he yells, "Make me an offer!" And we're like, oh, okay. A lonely old scary man who probably rapes children. That's why your wife left you. So we go outside, and we go downstairs, and Kelly is like, okay, so that was the condo, and if you want to go to the second one, we can, or you can just drive by it at night. And Christian and I were like, what? She's like, you just might want to drive by it at night. And Jay looks at us and goes, that means it's ghetto, and you may die going home. And it looks fine during the day, but during the night, you don't want to leave your house. So Christian and I are like, well, maybe we won't go see that one. She's like, oh, that's okay with me then, because we don't have to go see it, because trust me, you won't like it. We're like, okay. Whatever. So we're going out. Hi, Kava. My dog's visiting me. Sorry. She's like, what are you doing? I want to be part of it. Can I do it too? Can I have my own YouTube vlog? It would be me going. That's what she would do her entire vlog, because she can't speak English, can you? She's like, I try. Anyway, I'm sorry you had to watch that. I should edit that out, but I'm not really good with editing yet. I suck at editing. Anyway, so we go downstairs, and, you know, I'm telling you how we don't have to go to the second place, and there's all these other residents of this condo community out. So Christian's asking them questions, and she goes, so she explains to me, you know, the area and how she's run into some very odd people being, a real estate person, because she says to Christian was telling her about our business that we're on the side, and he has a full-time job at a business, and she goes, oh yeah, I know about that because I Googled you. And he went, I'm sorry? And she went, oh, yeah, I Googled you because I wanted to make sure you weren't a serial killer or anything who was going to kill me. So I was like, oh, okay. She said, so I found you on Google, and I know that you're LinkedIn, whatever the hell that means. Christian tried to explain to me it's this social networking thing. Everything's a social networking something or other. So she's like, and I know about your business at the side that you sell video games and stuff, video games and DVDs and such, and yeah, I Googled you. And we're like, oh, she's like, yeah, well, because you know when I got out of the car and I said, yeah, the green file's on the right, that means it's okay. I call somebody and I tell them, oh, they're okay, they're not going to kill me. But then, like, if I say it's red file, that means they have to call me back in 10 minutes, and then I have to leave for an emergency. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I don't understand how that works, because, you know, even though I look fine, you know, I look normal, I guess, and, like, not scary. There were 3 of us, you know. We could have, like, locked the door, because it was supposed to be an empty building. Could have locked the door, tied her to the 4-post bed, and, like, gang raped her to death or something like that. We could have done it. I mean, just because I'm wearing preppy clothing and I'm white and not trashy looking doesn't mean I can't have the potential to murder somebody and torture them. I mean, let's look at Ted Bundy. He was kind of interesting, not bad looking, and he was normal looking, and he had a lot of, like, important friends, but he was psychotic. We all know that. He killed a lot of people. So, yeah. I don't think her red and green file thing works. So Christian goes to talk to this other lady who's walking her dog. And, you know, he's like, oh, do you live here? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, how long you lived here? 16 years. And then she goes into an entire spiel about how they've been kicking slumlords out and stuff. And it later turned out she was, like, the president of the condo committee. And so she's sitting there, and she says, excuse me, to Christian. She's like, Loretta, will you come help me inspect the bag by the garbage? And so we're kind of looking at her, and she's like, yeah, well, this place used to have a lot of bad people in it, and we're going to cut off the street and everything. So, but a lot of odd things happen sometimes, and sometimes you have to, like, some weird things appear, like a bag of mail that's by the garbage can over there, and it's, yeah. I have to have an eyewitness, because I don't know what's inside. And I'm like, is it a dead baby? Did someone, like, kill their dead baby, or, like, give birth to a child and kill it and put it back to a dumpster? Morbidly enough, I would find it really cool, but no, that's not what happened. And so, finally, we left there, and we were done. And I was just done with the day, I guess, is what I should say. Then we went to this place called Movie Stop. Movie Stop is a GameStop / EV game store that just sells movies, new and used. You trade in. Now, I find that deceptive only because GameStop is like, oh, we're getting out of the DVD business. No, you're not. You're opening new stores. That's what you're doing. You're opening new stores. So, they're liars. All of them are liars. But it's a really cool store. They had tons of used and new DVDs. Some of the used ones were a little bit overpriced for my liking. Some of them were really well priced, so I bought them and I sold them. Shh, don't tell anybody to do that because I'm not supposed to be able to do that. Because they don't like that. It's mean. It's buy 3, get 1 free. And I sold everything but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything but 5 of the 20 DVDs I bought. I sold everything else. And they're all on their way from yesterday. I still have to go to the post office today, but I don't want to. So we left there. We went to Movie Stop. And then later we went to Mayfair. Mayfair is this shopping district that's there, and it has condos inside, and I was like, I wish we could live in Mayfair. It's like this shopping district with all these stores. And we're walking to the World's Market, and first they play music outside, so I'm like, dancing, and out of nowhere, this older woman appears, and she's like, you were dancing, so was I. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah. And so she's walking by me, still dancing, going, I was like, I don't even know you. So that was cute. And Jay was like, oh, see, everyone here is friendly. So we go inside the World Market. We walk around. There's many a cute man. There was one really cute dad. I think men who are hot with children are extremely more hot because they have children. So if you have children, you're hot. And you're good looking, you're even hotter than hell. You know, for some reason I'm attracted to men with children. It's really bad. And so we go to the part where they sell wine and stuff, and the guy asks us if we want to try the wine that he's selling. We say sure. The man is half drunk as it is, so he like mixes these drinks for us. Like it's like, oh, this is a sweet wine, this is a dry wine, and he mixes them both, and we drink them. I noticed behind the counter he has like cup upon cup for himself, and he's drinking, and we're like, are you drunk? And he's like, I'm not driving home. Don't worry about it. I walk to work. I live down the street. I just walk here. We're like, oh, that's a nice job where you can actually purposely get drunk because you have to. So Christian bought like a bottle of wine off of him. And so we left World's Market and we're just walking around, and we're one part, and we noticed that one woman, older woman, is driving with her trunk wide open. I mean, it's wide open. Like, I don't know how she didn't see it. So we're staring at, no one else around us is reacting, and I'm like, maybe I should go say something. So finally I start running to her, and before she leaves the stop sign, I'm like, ma'am, your trunk is open, and she turns, and her like husband is like knocking on death's door. That's how old he was. Is like, oh, do you mind closing that for me, please? And I'm like, oh, sure. Okay, you can go. And she's like, oh, thank you. I do that all the time. I'm like, oh. Aren't you cute, you southern people? You just leave your trunks wide open. Then we went to Starbucks in this little district down there, and Starbucks was interesting. The guy behind the counter didn't know how to do anything, and he wasn't doing it fast enough, to the point where the woman was like, I'll just write it down for you. Like, the cashier / manager girl was like, I'll just write it down for you. And then finally she looked at me, she said, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm good. She's like, we're just getting it together here. We'll just get it together. I was like, I can see that. Yeah. So afterwards, we went back home, and Jay went to sleep, so Christian and I went for a drive. We went by the beach, and men and women, gay men and women, or bi men, there were a ton of hot boys. With different body types, because I just don't subscribe to one body type. I can like men with muscles. I can like men with some weight on them. I can like men with some hair and some with not hair. I like hairy. It's a big turn on for me, But yeah, there was a lot of men, and I liked it. But it was raining, so we couldn't get out and like go on the beach and watch them. But Christian and I wanted to. They went to dinner, and I'm gonna have to do that in another video. God, the second day lasts long.